Hello, everyone. Sorry, I'm drinking tea. Um, so I am providing a little video here where I'm discussing the short essay assignments this semester, and hopefully will offer some clarification for you. If you are still confused or have any questions at the end of this video, definitely feel free to reach out to me or set up a Zoom appointment. Okay, so let's get in. So you're going to be writing 4 short essays over the course of the semester. These essays are going to be 500 words in length, and that's about 2 pages double spaced. For each week/module, you're going to be given a choice of topics. You're going to choose one topic to respond to. But over the course of the semester, so it's a 5-week class, you're actually only required to write 4 of these essays. So you kind of have 2 options. You can either opt out 1 week, right? Say, okay, no, I'm not into this reading. I'm behind, right? I'm not going to write this essay. Or you can write all 5 and I can drop the lowest one. So you're only required to write 4 essays total. If you write 5, I'll just drop the lowest grade. And if you write 4, you write 4, right? So moving on, got a really aggressive cat here, of course, as usual. So like I said, it will be 500 words. You're going to choose a topic to respond to. So basically the way I've tried to set it up is that every week you have a choice of topic. You're going to choose one. You're not going to respond to both. And that way it gives you an opportunity to gravitate toward a reading or a topic that you feel a little bit more interested in, rather than just kind of like one topic. One thing to note is that even though that these are short essays, they are considered formal writing. So in other words, they should be free of grammatical, typographical, and style errors. They should meet the standards of college level writing. They should be formatted according to MLA. And of course, you want to make sure that you also check your essays for issues regarding accuracy, right? So for example, have you spelled Anne Bradstreet's name correctly? Are you referring to the author by their correct name? Do you have the characters correct and that kind of stuff? Again, you just want to take that into account because it will impact your overall grade. So, for this essay, like I said, you do need to be following MLA formatting. That goes for the layout of your essay in terms of double spacing, 1-inch margins, heading, etc. But it also goes for citations. So you should be citing your sources. You'll be citing basically from the Norton probably. You'll be citing your primary text of choice. And you should have a works cited page. The works cited page does not ever count toward your word count, so just note that. But you might have noticed on our Canvas page that there is actually a module dedicated to MLA that has resources on how to cite. There's a video that goes over parenthetical citations. There's also information on academic integrity. So there's resources on MLA on our Canvas page. But if you do have any existing questions, just reach out to me and I'd be happy to help. I will be having your essays submitted to turnitin.com, and I'll also be checking for plagiarism. And the reason I emphasize that is to just kind of remind everyone that, plagiarism is really taken seriously. It results in an automatic 0. Students who submit work that is plagiarized in any extent, in any form, will receive a 0, and you do not receive an opportunity to redo your work, right? So students who plagiarize, there's no option for resubmitting. You just take that 0. So just be careful. If you have any questions about plagiarism, just feel free to ask, but don't do it. No choice. So let's talk about the actual essays and sort of what we're doing here. So the essays for this class, they're literary analysis exercises. So they do require you to, 1, have read the text. That is key. and to formulate a thoughtful response supported by evidence from the primary text. And just kind of as a side note for clarification purposes, when I'm saying the primary text, or I'm saying primary and secondary, I'm just talking about the text that you're writing about. So if you're writing about the Coquette, that's your primary text. If you're writing about like Anne Bradstreet, basically everything we're reading in this class is a primary text. A good kind of example is Harry Potter, primary text. Article about Harry Potter, secondary text. So when you are writing your short essays, you should be providing lots of evidence from the primary text, right? So, for example, if you're like, Benjamin Franklin characterizes women this way, right? You want to be able to say, look, see, I can show you, look at this moment from Polly Baker, right? Like, look at this quote. Or Jonathan Edwards, sees the idea of self-reliance as an example of man's folly or man's hubris. Look at this quote from Jonathan Edwards. So, in other words, you're going to be pointing to examples from the text to support the assertions that you're making. So if you're saying, the author's doing this, the author says this, the author says that, you go, look, it's right here. So in order to write a strong essay, you do need to have direct examples from the text you're writing about, including direct quotes, paraphrased or summarized examples from the text. These should be cited appropriately. And if you do not, if you're not using examples from the text, you will be losing points, right? Think about that rule. I'm sure your high school teacher said, show, don't tell, right? So you want to, instead of telling me about the text, you want to actually say, look, here, let me show you. Let me show you with an example. You want to make sure as well that you're responding directly to the prompt. So like I said, you will have 2 choices for each week to choose from. Read the questions over and over again. Make sure you fully understand them. If you feel like you don't understand them, set up an appointment with me. Ask me via email. If you feel like there are moments in the text that you don't understand, right? Like, I want to write about this topic on the Coquette, but, I need help with what's happening in here. Send me an email. I'd be happy, or set up an appointment over Zoom. I'd be happy to chat with you. Avoid, and this is a big one, avoid including unnecessary filler information, such as the dates of an author's birth or death, irrelevant historical or autobiographical facts. It may seem beneficial to do so, but it really isn't. Like, I don't need to know, like, Anne Bradstreet's favorite color. I don't need to know, like, how many cats Benjamin Franklin had. When certain wars began or ended, that kind of stuff. Or like, people for some reason always feel like compelled to include those facts, but it's just like, okay, let's just get through it. Remember that the point of your essay is to respond to the prompt, to the question being asked. So if you're responding to like how Jonathan Edwards conceptualizes self-reliance as compared to Hector St. John de Crevecoeur, telling me, about like Crevecoeur's great-great-great-grandson or something like that, or the War of 1812, doesn't answer that question. So I think what I'm kind of getting at is that it comes across as filler, right? And that's not the impression that you want to give when you're submitting an essay, right? You don't want to give the impression that you're filling it with like garbage, essentially. So avoid the urge to include those like really neat historical facts, because they're usually not that neat. Unless for some reason they are absolutely integral to your analysis, right? If you find this absolutely integral to your analysis, you have to include it. But otherwise, I don't need to know if, I don't know, Edward Taylor was a lefty or a righty, for example. So hopefully this gives you a little bit better understanding of this writing assignment. And like I said, if it doesn't, or if you have any outstanding questions, shoot me an email or let's set up an appointment via Zoom.